Hello again, DIY friends, and welcome back to another Dollar Tree inspired DIY video. I'm going to show you how to make this outdoor snowman using Dollar Tree products and only a few things not from Dollar Tree but very under $1. This snowman is perfect for under a covered porch. I would not put this outside on the actual grass because it's not 100% waterproof. So I was able to get this on a budget versus paying the expensive prices I see for an outdoor snowman, and it came out really well. I did, however, purchase a better hat for him and scarf, but I just used what I could find at the time to make those two items by hand. So let's jump into the video. Step 1, you want to locate the glitter drape that Dollar Tree has. I love the way that this looked, and I can only visualize it to how it will look on a snowman, but it comes with these little glitter pieces. I did not want my snowman to be glittering, but if you want yours to be, keep it on there. I went and got me a lint roller, which Dollar Tree does sell, to roll all of them off. Now after that was done, I purchased these fabric buttons from Joann on clearance for 98 cents. They come in different sizes, so it's perfect for the snowman, and I'm going to be using some Krylon paint to paint them black. Now when it comes to his nose, I wanted his nose to actually be protruding, so I got some Dollar Tree foam orange paper and I just cut it into a square, cut the square in half, and diagonal, and then I went ahead and started rolling it around as you see me doing with my hot glue to adhere everything. And then I got my scissors once it was dried and I just cut the very bottom to make it a flat base so that when I put it on the snowman's face, it will be able to adhere without issue. So I went ahead and purchased this flannel back tablecloth from Dollar Tree as well, and this is going to help me make the scarf and the hat. I could not find either of those at Dollar Tree at the time, so I figured, hey, let's try this tablecloth. It's going to be outside anyway. Perfect to keep the water off, so let's get it done. So I got my scissors and I only unwrapped the actual tablecloth one time just to get it in a long rectangle. It was the perfect length to actually go around the neck and then put one little knot in there. So then I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to glue the edges from the bottom to the top, and this will allow me to have the scarf look like a real scarf because it's literally like tied down to each other, so that when I do tie it, it's not going to come apart and it's just going to be more secure this way. So I decided to go a little step further in making the scarf look much better than it does plain like this. So I took my scissors and I cut up to that line you see I'm stopping at just to make it look like a little fringe at the bottom. I did it on both ends. So I really like that I'm using this flannel back tablecloth because it is indeed plastic, so it is going to help with making the snowman more waterproof around areas. So just in case snow or rain does happen to trickle on there, I have a lot of the area covered with this scarf and the hat that's made from tablecloth. So when it came to actually doing it for the head, I had to use my measurements to cut out the actual square that I would utilize to make the hat. And then I went ahead and put it, side by side, raw edges together. And then I'm going to just cut a triangle right up to the center. And then I'm going to hot glue the edges to make that triangular shape that most hats are. Fold the bottom pieces up and hot glue them together, and then I'm going to take some white I don't know what kind of fabric it was, but I used it for my wedding a long time ago as like an aisle, and it was the perfect color and texture I wanted to have. So I basically cut pieces of that to put at the base of the hat so that it can look kind of like the fur you normally see. And I didn't have anything else. I was like literally using whatever I had inside of my little cubby area, and then I got a flower and I glued it right on the side just to make it look a little bit more cute. And then off camera I got some cotton balls, glued them into a ball and put it on the end. Now it's time to make the snowman. So if you are so lucky enough that your Dollar Tree sells this spear wreath, you will be able to make this snowman. So the directions are there, but it still didn't really help me know that yes, it's going to be a lot of movement when I'm making this spear. So you get 2 circular pieces, and per directions you should put it on top of the outer side of the spear and just use the pieces that are protruding outward to clamp on each side going down. That wasn't working for me in the beginning, so I just did it the opposite way, and it still was able to stay intact and not move. But what I realized is, like, literally all I have to do is just make sure that every circular piece that's making the spear connects with one of those protruding pieces from the center of the circle. And then once I get those there, just use the protruding pieces to wrap around each of the sides of the circle, and then voila, it is not moving. You definitely have your spear at the right side so that it can look how it should look. So just take your time. It took me 2 times to actually get it to make sure it looked right, because it was severely lopsided, but I got it, so I was happy for that. Once I was done, I went ahead and did the other side as well. Now, once that they're done, I'm going to get my Dollar Tree flower bucket, Dollar Tree rocks, and my Dollar Tree plunger. I'm going to get my glue gun with the thick glue stick, and I'm going to use a lot of glue just to adhere that plunger into the inside of the bucket. Now, you want to make sure that the actual stick is standing upright and not crooked, because you want the snowman to be standing straight up, not turning sideways. Unless it's what you're going for. So once that dried overnight, then I just took out a bunch of my Dollar Tree twine, which is in green, and I'm going to be basically, you can't put the plunger right in the center, so I just basically slid it into one of the openings on the side, and then I got the twine and just start wrapping it all around so that I can actually get it to adhere to the plunger stick. Now, when you are doing this, it's best to go in all different type of ways so that you can make sure it is surrounding the actual stick, which will be serving as the foundation for this snowman to make sure he or she stays together. Like, she's not going to fall over, it's not going to be no tilting situation. And then for the second spear part, because this plunger handle is indeed too short, you just take the actual twine, wrap it around the top centerpiece and bring it down and wrap it around the top portion of the handle as you see, and this allows it to still act as the foundation for that very, very top piece that is not actually hitting the plunger handle. And then you would just make your little knots and then cut off the excess string. You won't be able to see this when the snowman is indeed wrapped up, but it's just an option. I was going to actually paint everything white with a spray paint, but that was just too much work and I didn't have time for all that, so I left it how it was. Now, the following day, I got some Dollar Tree lights because I didn't have any, and I wanted to actually connect this to the outside outlet of my home underneath my porch. Now, the 5 feet ones is perfect, and the color is 100% bright, and with all Dollar Tree things, you test them first. So I plugged them in. They are indeed working. So then I just decided, what? I want to have a tail, enough room that I can pull this cord from where it's going to be at into the socket. So I am going to wrap the very bottom piece of it and just twirl it all the way around, only around the actual plunger handle. And then at the very base, I just want to make sure that I have enough length to push this over into where I want it to be at for the socket. So I'm just going to make a little, I don't want to say a little knot, but I just wrapped it around itself at the very base and pulled it taut so that it cannot come undone. Now it's time to make the snowman look like a snowman. So you're going to bring out that drape piece. You had took all the little glitter pieces off, and all you're going to do is hot glue it together. Now this is very, very simple and easy. 1 drape piece is all you need. I purchased 2 just in case I messed something up. So I got my hot glue gun, and I'm going to just literally put the glue on the outside portion of one of the ring sides, and I'm going to affix the drape onto the glue, pushing down to make sure the drape is indeed intact. And then I'm going to keep on doing that, going all the way around while pulling the drape a little bit to make sure it is indeed taut going around versus really droopy like. And you want to make sure that you are going to glue it from the very top of the spear all the way to the bottom. You want this to be 100% covered. Now, to close it all up, when you get to the very end and you have 2 sides of the drape facing each other, you want to try to take out as much of the excess drape as possible. So using my little Dollar Tree scissors, I'm just cutting it, and then I'm going to get my smaller glue gun, and I'm going to put glue on the inner side of that ring as you see, and then push the drape right to that. And that allows me to close up the inner side with the fabric, and it's not just loosey-goosey inside of the snowman's head. And then I'm going to go work that all the way down to the bottom to make everything be ideal, while again making sure to pull tight because you want it to look very, very cleanish. You don't want it to be all droopy like. And then once I was done with that and I had everything glued, I got my scissors and cut all of the excess pieces of the drape off. Now it looks a little weird in the neck part, but again, this will be covered with the scarf. Some areas did not stick well with the glue, so that's why I did that. And at the very top, I just cut down all the excess fabric, and then I got another piece, just glued it and popped it right on top. Now these wires came from Joann from a different snowman, so if you want to see that snowman, I have the video up here for you to see. And I took the arms off of that snowman and put it on this snowman because I'm recycling some items, so I don't gotta worry about trying to find it again. So to attach it to the ring, all I did was make a little hoop. And now I'm going to get some hot glue, and I'm going to put it on the actual hoop and then protrude it through the drape itself while connecting it to the actual hoop, as you're going to see me do here. This will allow the hot glue to keep it in place so that it can indeed be utilized for the snowman arms, and I can move it back and forth. And this was the best option I can come up with to make sure that these arms are going to stay in place. Now to finish him off, all I did was I gathered the scarf I made, put it around his or her little neck, and then I am making sure that it is cocked to the side because again I still have to put on the buttons for the body of it. So I just made sure I pulled it as much as possible, but then I realized it was like really too big for him. So I was like, oh my goodness, I gotta get something different. So I got the buttons, they all dried, put a bunch of hot glue at the back of it, and I'm just gonna put it right there in the center, and then I'm gonna work on the buttons for the front part for the face and the carrot part for the nose. And that is how I'm going to build my snowman. And that is it to this video. I really hope you enjoyed my video. I really appreciate the support of you watching, because that really helps my channel. Again, this is a wonderful project. Hopefully you can find these spears, and have a great one.